just like I said, just you can do you can do a lot of great things in the military because they're very good about training you to do what you need to do.
Do you think that if the military was more lax with their training, that in the past we might not have been so successful?
Yeah, I agree with it 100% because, and that's a hard thing I have sometimes adjusting to military life is a lot of people don't plan to the precise degree that we do in the military. I mean, if you've got to plan an operation down to the minutes of when you're supposed to make a move or do something, a lot of people in the civilian sector say, well, at the end of the day, we want to be here. We want to achieve this goal. In the military, you're trained not only to achieve that goal at the end of the day, but here's all the steps it's going to take to get there, and here's the time you need to complete this by. So it's very organized and very disciplined approach to doing things.
Has your time in service impacted the way you feel about war or the military in general?
It does, absolutely. And, after 9/11, there were a lot of people just wanted to go to war. I haven't been at war. I can tell you there's nothing glamorous about it. I didn't anticipate how sleeping on the ground for weeks, days, weeks on end, how difficult that really is, and how not showering for weeks on end, how difficult that really is. You get used to it, but there's nothing glamorous about war. I think it should be used as the end all to a breakdown in diplomatic solutions. I still think we're the greatest military in the world and we can achieve anything, but it's not to just be thrown around as a tool. It should be important and done in the right way at the right time.
So obviously you spent time in the Middle East during our conflicts. Do you think the United States is doing an adequate job of dealing with the threats that we're receiving, or is there anything you would do differently? Or?
Well, I think we are in the fact that, prior to 9/11, and that's kind of when the whole Middle East conflict kicked off, we were playing defense. We were on defense here in the United States. We weren't playing a really good defense because we got hit, right? But that's because a lot of the bad actors out there that wanted to bring destruction to our country had freedom of movement. They could do whatever they wanted over there. I feel like we're safer as a country because we've got people right now in the Middle East, and now those people are kind of playing their own defense. They're concentrating on surviving. They're concentrating on trying to attack us over there, which means they're not trying to attack us as much over here. So if that was the end-all plan, I think we're doing it great. I don't think you'll ever bring a lot of peace to the Middle East. There's so many factions. There's so much historical hatred over there. Even when the Americans aren't around, sometimes they fight each other, and oftentimes they do. And that's one thing I've seen since we've been there, even, is that sometimes our presence being there has different groups competing against each other to do different things. So it's like we've almost turned them on themselves as well. So I think in the big scheme of things, they're not as intent or as able to attack us here in the United States as they were before. And if everybody thinks that we're over there to bring peace to the region, I think they got their sights set in the wrong level.
What message would you like to leave for members of the future generation that will hear this interview?
I cannot stress to you the importance of, and this helped me along, and I'm saying this because I know I'm interviewing at a Catholic high school right now, but even during the toughest times when I was overseas and was not having a good time, my faith really brought me through it. A lot of people would be very scared, very stressed, a lot of anxiety about what could happen tomorrow. And I think if you give yourself up to God and say that your life is in His hands, you're still going to do the right thing. You're still going to, act according to training. But you got to realize that your life isn't really in your hands sometimes. And if you turn that over to God, it brings a level of peace upon you like you've never found. And I've always said that about my time in Iraq, is it was probably the most peaceful time in my life because I made that decision that, a bullet could fly out of the air today and I could be dead. It's out of my control. I'm going to do everything I can to control it, but you see so many things happen there that are just out of your control. So faith, if you let faith take over, it brings a level of peace to you that you'll never experience. And the other thing is just doing the right thing, working hard, and you can succeed at anything you do. You don't have to be in the military. It's about having a good work ethic, hard work, and you're reliance on God, you can do anything in this world you want to do.
Okay, are there any other thoughts that you'd like to add that we have not already covered?
No, I just appreciate the invitation.
Yeah, thank you for taking time out of your schedule, and thank you for all that you've done for our country.
You're very welcome.